Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw here with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. Hey, if you're curious, how can I grow my business? How can I turn sawdust into cash? Well, I got 3 tips that'll help you grow your woodworking business, so stay tuned. So how do you grow your woodworking business, turning that sawdust into cash? Well, it's all about the PMP. That's your product and your market and your promotion. And so we're just going to do a little step-by-step of what it means to grow your business. So number 1 is your product. So we take that, your product. When you look at it, it's kind of things to take in consideration of, hey, what can I make that's going to turn some sawdust into cash? So that's really the first thing, or the first question you need to ask yourself is, what can I make? Well, for me, it's all about shop size. I've got a micro shop that I always talk about that I dearly love, but I'm kind of limited on what I can make. So I've made farmhouse tables, big 4 foot by 8 foot long farmhouse tables, but that's tough working. So I stick to stuff that will fit my shop. A lot of woodworking projects like this, the wine bottle holder that we had in another episode. Also make glue up cutting boards, things like this. This is perfect for my shop size. So that's kind of determines of what you're going to make. Also kind of depending on your skill level. So always take those things into consideration when you're going to say, hey, what am I going to make? And when we really look at the product and the marketing and the promotion, you'll discover some new items out there of things that you can make that people are asking for, but you just don't know it yet. Number 2 is this, your cost. What does it cost you to make that piece, that product that you want to sell? Well, you look at it in this, these are kind of scraps, but let me tell you, even though they're scraps and they're free, still factor in the cost of that wood, because if it comes down to another time and you don't have the scraps and you need more product, well, then you're going to have to purchase that material. So go ahead, and even though it's free and the scraps, go ahead and factor in the cost of the material. We'll figure in time later, but also when you figure in your materials on what that piece costs you to make, also figure in your tools and your tool cost on that. I have a CNC machine. I make a lot of little signs that are just like 7.5 by 10 or so, and a lot of signs that I make, like these signs here, for instance, and with the CNC machine. And so I know that my price point on my CNC machine, for every hour it runs, the replacement cost on that is 50 cents per hour. So I need to how do you figure in what it costs for your machine to run? Well, I figured that machine will last me 5 years, and so I just divide that out with the cost of the machine. And so you just break it down on a monthly, weekly, and then an hourly rate, and so that's how I come up with 50 cents an hour to run that machine. What it's going to cost you, and finally you come up with a price point. What can I sell that object for? And say your shop time, and then that's when you'll figure in your shop time. Say it's $35 an hour or $40 an hour. Then you just divide that out for 20 minutes it took you to make that project, and you can kind of roughly come up with a price point for your particular product, like a sign that you're trying to sell. So come up with your product. It's all got to do with your shop space and the tools that you have. Don't go out buying new tools. Start with where you're at. We're talking about making money, not spending money, okay? So we talked about a product, what to make, your cost, and the price point. Number 2 is the market of the PMP. How do I market my items? So, well, I kind of relate this back to I've written books, and people say, well, hey, how hard is it to write a book? I said, well, you can hire out editors and publishers and things like that, and it's really not focused on writing the book, it's about selling the book. Remember, it's called a best-selling author for a reason and not the best writing author. Same thing with your products. When you're talking about making money, it's all about the market. Who am I going to sell my item to? Where am I going to sell it? How do I get people to pay me cash for my sawdust? Okay? So number one, and probably the easiest way, is online. Whether that's Facebook, a website, or if you do Amazon or some other type of online sales. You want to go online and build your presence there. That's probably the easiest and the quickest way to get started. With Facebook, for example, I have a Facebook page, Todd Shaw, the Sawdust Dude. And on that page I have over 400 followers on there at this particular point, which may not sound like a lot, but it only takes one person to buy something. So 400 people, and then they get into sharing, and it just multiplies from there. That's online. For an example, with my cutting boards, every time I make a cutting board, 3 or 4, I'll post on them online. Hey guys, I'll put some nice pictures, a little description about them, and say, hey, you can. And I even ship these things. So so all over the country, my friends and people that have begun to see me on YouTube start liking my Facebook page, Todd Shaw the Sawdust Dude, and they want to purchase a board, and there's a quick sale from in there. The other part that you can use are specialty shops. And maybe you've got a shop in your area that is an artisan shop, local artisans, and they showcase the local talent and woodworkers, painters, luthiers, people like that. There are shops around like that where you can take your product to them. Now what will happen is you bring them a sample, they'll look it over, they have a panel of people, and they kind of judge whether it's worthy to be displayed or not. And so you make sure you want to keep the quality there, but understand that there's a process that you have to get approved in there. They just don't say, hey, yeah, bring it in. So you can sell online, you can sell at specialty shops, but then also there's retail sales. I have a spot inside of an antique store. It's a retail shop, and it's the Sawdust Dude, and you can buy t-shirts and cutting boards and all kind of woodworking things that I buy. And much like the specialty shops or an artisan store, the owner of the antique shop rents out a space. Now they have to approve what you sell there, but the good news is it's just something that you come in once a month, restock your items, kind of clean up, and just pick up a check from them at the end of the month. And it's a really neat way to get your wares or to get your woodworking products visible by people. So it's at a retail spot. Now how that typically works is that there's a monthly fee to rent a booth space, and also they get a percentage of your sales, and say it's 3, 4, 5, 10% or less they get of your sales also. But they file all the taxes, they do all the sales tax, and they have the employees there that basically work for you. So I really like having a retail shop, and you may, between a specialty shop online, you really got all these streams of income coming in that makes it worth your while, and you can turn that sawdust into cash. Now the next way is with wholesaling. Say you've got cutting boards. Keep using this for an example. Cutting boards are signs, okay? And so I know what my cost is, and then what the price point I want to sell them for. But maybe there's somebody the next town over that wants to carry your cutting boards as well. So you come up with a wholesale price, and usually the markup on wholesale items is about 20%, and that's how they get their retail price. So just kind of look at what that product's selling for online, and you can bump it down 20%, and so that can really be your wholesale price. Now for me in my retail shop, the Sawdust Dude, inside the Briar Patch Marketplace, I've had customers come through from neighboring cities and go, hey, I really like your signs. I have an antique or specialty shop in Charlotte, North Carolina. Can I purchase these from you? And really, I'm kind of selling my signs locally at a wholesale price. So really, I don't have to mark it down. And I said, sure. And so I'll go through that town about once a month and just bring a box load full of signs, let them pick. Or they come up with a new design, and I just wholesale to them. It's not on consignment. It's on wholesale, so they pay me right away. It's what I would sell for locally, so I'm happy with the price, and it's just another way for me to keep that flow going, that cash flow going in a positive direction. Word of mouth is huge. I had a customer in my repair business, and she goes, Todd, can I have some extra cards, because I want to tell people about you. And that word of mouth is huge when people do that, when they talk about you. And it's kind of funny. She goes, now make sure you do a good job, because one way or other I'm going to talk about you, and it's up to you whether it's going to be good or bad. Well, she's got a good point there. You always want to do a good job. You always want to have a good product at a good price point, and people will talk. That's your best form of advertising. That's your best form of promotion. Another easy and inexpensive way is with business cards. Print up some business cards about your woodworking skills. Let people know that you're in business. Don't be afraid to pass out those business cards. Now, I want to give you a little tip here. This is big. This is huge. This is worth you hitting that subscribe button down below. A friend of mine, a great marketing guy, Donnie King, told me this. I had some business cards, and it had my name and what I did on the front. And he took that business card and he flipped it over, and guess what? It was blank on the back side. He goes, what about this space? I never forgot that, Donnie. You know what? Every business card I have today has contact information on the front, but it also has more detailed information on the back. What I make, cutting boards, home repairs. Fill up the front and the back of that card, because you know what? That is wasted advertising. That's wasted promotion space. So Donnie, thank you, brother. Always use the front and back of your business cards. It's an easy way to promote your business, to leave them out. And finally is this, kind of social media. All right, we talked about this earlier with the Facebook page. Facebook page is a cheap and easy way to market and to promote your business. Now, on my social media page, Todd Shaw, the Sawdust Dude, I'll even make little silly commercials about coming to the retail store. Hey, this is where we're located. These are our hours. Come by and see Ricky. Hey, and buy something from the Sawdust Dude. So all kind of things like that. Those are easy ways that social media and letting your friends and trying to get people involved into your woodworking business. And so once you do that, now here's a little snippet that's extra that kind of goes with the PMP. Facebook has a way on your social media page where you can boost post. So if you got a page that highlights, and it's not so much on your personal page, but if you have a profile page, but this is on your page for like your business, you can actually boost post, and for $5, $10, $15, you can discover a target market. And so say I've got a new set of cutting boards out, or I got a new video out for the Sawdust Dude. I'll put that on my Facebook page and boost it. Now when I boost it, I can, whether it's just locally or nationally or internationally, and people can come. And as they click through, I pay for the click-throughs, and so I can set my budget up to $20. And just go on Facebook and read more about it. If it sounds a little confusing, it's really, really simple. But so I can go in after my ad has run for 7 days, is how I normally run it. I can see who my click-throughs, who watched or who looked at that video, who looked at that post, who's interested in my cutting boards. And what I've discovered that a lot of ladies 55 and above are interested in that. And so I'll make more signs, I'll make more products that are geared more towards my target market. And so through promotion, I really learn about what products to make. That's good stuff. Let me say that again. Through my promotion and my marketing, I learn what new products that are out there. You can also go on SD or Pinterest and what's hot and what are people looking at on those websites. So those are all different types of ways to grow your woodworking business. So remember, the product, the marketing, the promotion, if you focus in on that, I guarantee you, you'll turn that sawdust into some cash. Thanks for joining us here on the Sawdust Dude. I'll see you real soon.